So welcome everybody to the show. I'm super excited, nervous at the same time, being honest with you. It's my first inaugural podcast, this, that, and the third, where my goal is to show everyone how they can basically succeed at multiple things in life, regardless of what you want to get into. One I have on today is super special to me. He the one that started me into this uh, thing that I'm on, this journey I'm on. So I felt that it was important actually that I brought him on. That's my first one. So let me bring on my guy, man.
What
Pace
up,
Morby.
everybody? What up? Okay, dude,
My
I got my dog right here, Chip, and I got my dog right here. No, right here, Chad Glover. Guys, thank you so much for having me here. I really appreciate it. Chad Glover is one of my favorite people on the planet. I was on stage last night talking about Chad Glover actually, and Chad Glover has been my friend for coming on 5 years, and I'm so grateful for this man. So grateful for what he does. So thank you so much for having me here, brother.
oh man, I appreciate it. I couldn't again do it without you. I was thinking like maybe I want to start this by myself. Maybe I want to just introduce the world who I am. But I like, you know what? This is the person who got me on this journey. All the credit goes to you, man. I can't say it more than enough. How grateful I am for one. Thankful for what you've done for me and so many others, man. So many other people, and just pushing me. You one of the all ones that always pour into me for tons for just again going on 5 years, man. And I wrote you a text one time, and I'm not gonna get too sapping off track, but I wrote like basically not changing, right? And it wasn't a change where some people I don't want you to change because they want you to talk about football all the time and all this craziness, but the authenticity and just that coming from where I come from, you always see somebody switch up and all the things, and that was going through my mind when I said it. And you has been consistent, one of the ones that we look up to, man. I'm
Thank you. Thank
so
you. It's
so
when we all went to church when we were little kids, one thing that was really interesting about going to church is that one thing that you learned is that you learn consistency, right? From the pastor or the bishop or whoever it was you were learning from. No matter what was going on in your parents' lives or no matter what was going on in your personal life, whatever, you could even take time away from church for a little bit and you'd end up going back to church and you'd look at the guy up on the pulpit and he was just there, consistent every single time. And what that taught me at a young age was even when I made mistakes, even when I veered off track, as long as I'm attached to something that is consistent, they can be my rock. They can be the consistency for me to remind me, hey, come back. Hey, come back. Hey, come back. And so as I got into the real estate game, I got into finance, I got into this financial independence journey. Somebody told me, they go, man, you know what I need more than anything? I go, I know what you need. And they go, what? And I go, you need somebody around you that's consistent because human beings have the natural tendency to not be consistent and do something for a week and then go back to their old selves. Do something for a month, then go back to them old selves. I just decided I wanted to be that rock in everybody else's life. Like I've had rocks in my life that have reminded me to remain consistent. And when I veered off track, that I could look at them like a lighthouse and just remind myself where I was supposed to be going in the first place. And so if I'm nothing, if I'm nothing else but consistent. I don't care if I'm the smartest person on the planet. I don't care if I'm the best storyteller, the most motivational. But one thing I can tell you is that I try desperately to be as consistent as humanly possible, and not just consistent as in Pace, you're the same person every single day, and you're the same person I knew 5 years ago. I want to do what I say I'm going to do, and I want to upgrade myself every single year so that every year you recognize me, but I'm a different version of myself, and I want to be consistently changing and upgrading, but at the same time be the same person. And so, Chad, you've been that person for me too. You've been consistent, although you've upgraded your real estate skills, your closing skills, your raising capital skills, and your awareness of financial independence. You have remained the same humble, giving, unbelievably cool person that I've known for the last 5 years. And so thank you for being consistent, bro. I appreciate you.
absolutely. And I feel like honestly I didn't give like the proper who this person is. Like my world is small in comparison, but Pace is someone who started sub2.com. One of the may not be the biggest in terms of numbers, but it's the biggest in terms of impact. 100%. And when it comes to the Gator program, which is showing you how to lend, make money off of that, how to do proper paperwork with transaction with top tier TC, and all these communities he created, and the portfolio that he has when it comes from a half a billion would it be in real estate, right? That's huge to me, and just to see him go from just sub two when it started to where it is to his vision is way down the road, super way
Yeah.
down the road. I don't even catch up with all of that, right? But
Yeah.
I think I
I mean,
didn't do him
even
a
me
service.
personally,
Yeah,
even for
a
me
service
personally, when
when it
I
comes to that.
I got my own, I got this vision, right? And it's this big, massive vision of where our community is going to go and where a lot of leaders like Chad Glover, where you're going to go and what you're going to do and the people's lives you're going to change. I can see in 3D, I can see all the colors. I can see all the layers. I can see all the people. I can see it like 10, 15, 20 years down the road. I can see exactly what's going to happen. And more importantly, I can see the reverse engineer of what needs to happen to make it happen. And I've been coached by one of my mentors. He says, you need to slow down on how you articulate your vision. I said, okay, are you telling me I need to slow down on my vision? He says, no, no, no. You need to slow down on how you articulate your vision because you lose your team. You're
Mm,
talking about, hey, guys, we're going to be here. 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 And people just can't see that far. And you just got to focus on what we need to do this week, this month, this year. Don't talk about 10 years, 20 years down the road. And I've had to dial it back down because my visionary tendencies tend to get 10 years, 20 years down the future, but that's just how I see things, right? So
mhm,
guys like Chad Glover, I see you as an industry leader. I see people, your age, your skin color, your background, you being the avatar that they have to follow in order to get out of bondage, essentially, right? Like,
mm,
I think one of the biggest challenges that we have right now is that never has life been more unaffordable, but at the same time, never has the information to become free become more available. And sadly, there's so much information just raining down on everybody that nobody knows what door to choose and which way to go. And so there's more confusion than there's ever been before as well. And what do we need is we need avatars, people that look like us, talk like us, think like us, that give us permission and can speak our language to invite us into the appropriate door. And so what Chad Glover is doing, which he's been doing for the last 5 years, is becoming a champion for his individual audience, his audience that needs to listen to him to come through the door to ultimately become financially independent. And what's cool about it is that he's done the deals. I mean, I've done deals with you. He's done the deals. He's helped other people do deals. And I don't even think you understand how big you're going to be. I don't even think you understand how many big stages you're going to be on and how many people you're going to motivate and inspire and how people are going to go, man, where's Chad Glover been my whole life? I don't
yeah.
think you realize that, but I can see it, and I'm super excited for it. And what's really scary right now is there's a lot of things going on in real estate, right? Like here's one of the scariest things going on in real estate right now. In Phoenix, Arizona, the average days on market, okay, average days on market has doubled in the last 30 days because the inventory has also doubled in the last 30 days. We went from 14,000 homes on the market to now 24,000 homes on the market just in 30 days.
Mm,
So what does that mean? That means that the competition to sell a house is now at an all-time high. We have not had this many houses for sale since 2006. So there's not an inventory problem anymore. There's an affordability problem, right? So
mhm,
people can't afford the houses that are on the market right now. Okay, so what does that mean for somebody that's just starting today? Somebody that's just starting today should recognize that there's going to be more cash wholesale deals than there's ever been before. There's going to be more creative finance deals than there's ever been before. There's never a better time to jump into real estate and start gaining that financial independence. And then here's the cool thing too. The other thing I see in the real estate market besides the inventory doubling is I see RV park homeowners or RV park owners, mobile home owners, small apartment building owners are all starting to retire between last year and the next 12 years. The largest portion of those owners of those types of assets are going to be retiring over the next 12 years. And so what does that mean for somebody like a Chad Glover or a Pace Morby or somebody that's brand new watching this for the first time? What that means is that you have the ability to get seller finance deals like you've never seen before. And so who's the person that can help you do that? Chad Glover, of course. Absolutely, Chad Glover. Now, you look at one RV park that I own, okay? One RV park. I've got 4 RV parks right now, but I just look at any one of them. The worst one I own makes $11,000 a month net. Okay. So if I got one deal and I put a one deal in my portfolio, I'm making 11 grand. I'm making more money than the average American household with 2 incomes off of one deal. So while the marketplace is uncertain and while the political environment is on fire and all the things that are happening, what's beautiful is the people that know, hey, there's big waves and a big storm coming. The people like us that have a surfboard and we know how to ride those waves are going to be the ones that make the most money. And so Chad Glover, myself, and other really, really intelligent people are poised and ready to take advantage over the next 10 years to just rain money, and opportunities on our family, our legacy, etc. And so for those of you guys that are listening to this podcast, and of course I'll share this to my audience as well. Once we have the download, we'll send out an email and all of that. I would look at you and go, why have you not gotten into the business? What's kept you from getting into the business? Mm-hmm. And it's always these same questions. Well, how do I get leads? How do I talk to the seller? How do I do this? What if the seller says yes? What if the seller says no, right? It's hundreds of little questions. And all it comes down to is the same answer every single time. Once I run into a problem, who is the person I'm going to reach out to when I need that help? And so what I would tell you guys to do, if you're somebody out there raising capital, or not raising capital, but you're somebody out there with private money and you want to put money into a deal, call Chad Glover. If you're somebody out there that's like, look, I'm a wholesaler just starting out. I've got leads, but I don't know how to close them and I don't know what to do with them and I don't know how to sell them. I would say go call Chad Glover. Get with the person, get in front of the person, get near the person, get in that proximity. Hell, ask Chad Glover if he's got a 2-day event or a 2-day class that you could go to. Go spend time with the guy and say, I need to be around you because that's where the most change happens. We're poised for the greatest opportunity of our lifetime over the next 12 years. And there's really scary things that are happening. Affordability is plummeting. People's ability to earn money in their 9-to-5 jobs is plummeting. Inflation is still at a very high level. And what's happening also is the government is going to start printing more and more money again. And we're going to get another wave of inflation. And so real estate investors and people who own businesses are going to benefit from the next wave, while people that are sitting on the sidelines are going to get basically no benefits. And so I would urge all of you guys to ask the question, how do I move my foot forward? How do I reach out to a Chad Glover? How do I start taking action? How do I buy my first asset? How do I get going? Start asking those questions. But the answer is always who's the person that's going to help me, not how do I do it? It's always who. So
yeah, that's 100%. Like finding those people that already have those resources, just as myself, 100%. And that's what allowed me to do the thing that I'm able to do. I think one thing that I tapped into at an earlier age that really allowed me to identify and like gravitate towards you though as well, Pace, was serve. You like serve. You like to have that like natural authenticity serving. Nothing is like, you can tell when someone being fake and have these pretensions and all of the things. However, I never got that. And I understand like life vibrating molecules, all of the things. And once you for me, understanding that's what life is like serving, just give, just reach out, and then the laws of reciprocity actually returns it back without you even realizing it, like you tapping into that space. What really had you to identify that so early on? Because that's another thing. Again, we talk about consistency, but you are naturally just serving, giving. Like today, I seen where you posted a lender, like you giving away private lenders list. When I know other people charge for stuff like that, that's what I mean about the serving. You have truly
yeah,
tapped into that. you know?
I think what it is the same thing. You're the same person. This is why we're friends. But my parents taught me, right? Your parents taught you. We were raised properly. But then what happens is you get out into the regular world and you do nice things for people, and people take advantage of you. And
Mm,
so what happens is you go, oh, I can't. It's like touching a hot stove. Oh, whoa, I didn't know that was going to be so hot. I gave something to somebody, I helped somebody, I gave them money, I loaned them money, whatever the heck the thing is that you do when you're, younger, and you get burned. And then you get very quickly trained to not give anymore.
mhm,
And deep down inside, you should be giving. Deep down inside, you should be helping, but you're afraid, you're timid, you're scared that somebody's going to take advantage of you. So, what it was for me is I finally had a mentor in my life. I was 26 at the time, and my mentor goes, "Man, I feel like you're so held back, like you are not your full self." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I just feel like there's a portion of you that wants to be let out, but there's something holding you back." And I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And after 20 questions, he finally said, we finally figured out and got to the root of it, is I was afraid of collaborating with other people. I was afraid of working with other people because I get taken advantage of a lot.
mhm,
Okay. I'll give you a good example of like today, something I'm dealing with, but I'll give you a good example of like how it was when I was younger. So at the time when I was trying to be a collaborator with other contractors, I was just a GC. I was a general contractor. And I would reach out to other general contractors saying, "Hey, let's collaborate. Let's do this. Let's share resources. Let's share subcontractors. Let's share, let's share, let's share." Well, guess what? Those contractors have been burned too
mhm,
by other people. And so their immediate reaction to every message that I sent to them was like, "F you. What's your angle? What's in it for you? Why do you care? Who are you? Blah, 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 blah," right? Type of thing. And finally, I finally found a contractor that wanted to collaborate with me. And he's like, "Hey, cool. What do you think?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Let's go play golf. Let's go hang out. You got ideas. I got ideas. Who knows? Let's just go spend 4 hours together and start talking about, this, that, and the third." Right.
mhm, mhm.
And
Right.
we get on the golf course. The guy's name is Sam. And we're on like hole 2 or hole 3. And I start sharing him all these ideas I have to expand my business. And I shared a resource and a subcontractor and a tile guy and a this. I'm just opening up my Rolodex. I'm opening up everything I possibly can. And he's like, "Oh, I need a painter. I needed this." I'm like spending hole 3, hole 4, hole 5, hole 6, giving, giving, giving. Cause I'm like, "Dude, I made a friend, man. This guy wants to hang out with me." Well, what ends up happening is this guy calls all my subcontractors and says, "Whatever Pace is paying you, I'll pay you 10% more."
Mm, wow.
And I'm like, "Dude, you don't need to convince my guys not to work with me. I shared them with you. Like, why are you trying to convince them not to work with me?" And then slowly he stole like 5 of my subcontractors. And I got really fearful of collaborating and being my natural self, my natural giving self that my mom and my dad raised. And so again, when I was 26, I hire a coach, and this coach went through, he figured out the core of the problem. And he says, "Pace, when somebody does something wrong to you, you need to welcome it, invite it, and you say, 'I can't wait for the next one.'" And I was
Mhm,
like, "What are you talking about?" He says, "It's the greatest filtering mechanism of all time. When somebody takes advantage of you, be grateful that they took advantage of you very quickly in the very beginning of the relationship, and they showed their true selves."
mhm,
And then he gave me this equation. He says, "You're going to have to filter people your entire life. And here's the equation: for every 10 people that you meet that you believe are going to be collaborators, about one person will be worthy of your time. One person." And he goes, "Here's the problem, Pace. You met one person, he burned you, and then you decided you're done. I'm going to give you permission to go and find 9 more people, find collaborators, find people you can rely on, find people that you can do things with, and you're going to get screwed along the way. Welcome it, be grateful for it. And when people screw you, you need to say, 'Thank you for showing me who you were early in this relationship, so I didn't get into a 10-year relationship with you and you screwed me later.'"
mhm,
And I was like, wow, what an interesting way to spin it, is to be grateful for the lesson and be grateful for the problems and be grateful for being taken advantage of. So what I started doing when I was 26 is I would give little things to people just to see how they acted. And John, my coach, John Bohm, he would say, give them a little filter, right? And see what would happen. So I would do stuff like give one subcontractor to a contractor and see if they would steal the person or if they would thank me or what would happen. And I would just start filtering. I would filter and filter. Oh, this person took advantage of me. This person didn't even thank me. This person, this, that, and the other. And then what happens is all of a sudden, I have 5 really good friends in contracting, and we're hanging out and doing all sorts of stuff together. And we blow up. And one of these relationships get me a contract. I get a guy named Doug that ended up getting me a contract that made me like $2 million because it was a contract. He's like, I don't want to do this work. I don't want to be doing paint work. Let me get you this painting contract. And Doug made me $2 million. And it was because of the advice that John Bohm gave me. He said, Pace, filter, filter, filter. Give, 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 give. Use your giving as the filter to find how people react to natural giving. If they have a weird reaction to it, then they're not used to it and they're probably going to take advantage of you. But you're going to attract other natural givers the more you give and the more you give and the more you give. And so when I got into real estate, I already had the equation. Be my natural self and give, 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 because your vibe will attract your tribe. And what that means is the more I give, the more givers I attract. And all of a sudden, I find a Chad Glover and I find other people because my giving is nothing more than a filter. I'm looking for collaborators. I'm looking for partners. I'm looking for people to do things with and elevate with. And the only way for me to verify that they are also givers is to give them things and see how they react. And so it wasn't originally, hey, Pace, give and you shall receive. It was give, and then I got burned and I stopped giving until my coach told me, keep giving, but change it as a filtering mechanism and expect people to take advantage of you. I'll give you a really, really good example of this, okay? This is an interesting one. So I've got this guy named Alan. Back in 2013, when I first jumped into real estate, I started using Instagram. I started talking about the deals I was doing, and I was offering people to help and work with me, okay? And I find this guy along the way. Hey, Tim Turner, good to see you, brother. Tim Turner's over here in the side chat. Thank you, brother. So I get this guy named Alan. He goes on Instagram and he posts something. He says, Pace Morby is full of shit. This is 11 years ago. Okay. And Chad, maybe you already know this story, but hopefully this is helpful for other people, is that instead of me going, wow, that guy sucks, I decided, let me give to him and see if I can revive and revitalize him. And this is also something John Bohm told me. John Bohm told me, do not water poisonous seeds. Do not water dead seeds. If the seed is dead, no matter what you water it with, no matter how much time you put into it, it's never going to produce any positive fruit that can support your family. But I hadn't gotten that far in my training at that point, right? John was still teaching me, use your giving as a filter. So I go, okay, well, I'm going to give to Alan. So I reach out to Alan. I go, hey, Alan, it looks like you think I'm full of shit. Totally appreciate that. Why don't I help you get your first deal? Okay. So I go help Alan get his first deal. I'm going to see if I can pull up the address of this thing. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. So this guy and oh yeah, there we are. Oh yeah. Oh, this is too good. Okay. So, this is back. Oh my word. Yeah, I'm looking at the first contract I ever did with Alan. This is such an interesting story. So I go on this appointment with him June 11th, 2014. So about a year after I was in real estate. And I went on this appointment with him. I closed the deal for him. So I generate a lead. I take him on the appointment. I close the deal. I fund the deal. I buy the deal. It's a sub 2 deal. Okay. I do everything. Literally, I do everything. And he makes $11,000 on the deal. Okay. Bro, I gave and gave and gave. I was like overbearing on how much I gave to this guy. This is what he does. He goes on social media. And he says, okay, Pace Morby is not as full of shit as I thought he was. That's how he
Absolutely.
complimented me.
Right.
He complimented me by saying Pace is not as full of shit as I thought he was.
Mhm.
And I'm like, dang it. So I'm thinking, now this guy psychologically, he's using psychological warfare on me, and it's working because at the time I didn't learn the valuable lesson of don't water bad seeds, right?
Mhm.
So I just thought, hey, you know what I got to do? I got to just pour into Alan and I can fix his mindset. I can fix his mindset. And so basically what I'm doing is this guy's drowning in bad mindset, victim mentality, all the negative things. And I'm pouring my time, my energy, and my effort into this guy, trying to get him to come and like me, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Give, 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 give. But my give, I should have already seen how he behaved. I should have seen that this guy didn't appreciate me, didn't give me a compliment. In fact, he attacked me and he gave me a kind of a backhanded compliment. Peace Morby is not as full of shit as I thought he was, type of crap, right?
Mhm.
So what did I do? I opened my office to him. I then let him start coming into my office with my business partner. He was making calls and working our leads. And then I start becoming popular, right? So this is now by 2015. I start becoming popular. People start asking me to go on their podcasts. I start getting requests and I start getting busy to the point where Alan, by the way, at this point has done 15 deals with me. He's probably made $150,000 at this point,
Mhm.
right? This is coming from a guy that attacked me on social media. Okay.
Right.
Now has 15 deals under his belt. He's quit his job to go full time into wholesale because he's basically been riding on my coattails and all of that.
Mhm.
And then I get busy with podcasts. So he sends me a text message and I'm on a podcast and I'm on that podcast for 2 hours. And instead of waiting 2 hours, Chad, instead of just waiting 2 hours, what Alan did was go on social media again and go, Pace Morby is a scam artist. Now he thinks he's better than me. He thinks he's this, that, and the third. He's like this, that. Pace Morby is like, oh, Mr. Podcast now. I can't get a
Right.
hold of the guy. And the way he said it on social media was almost as if he was helping me get deals. And I'm
Right.
like, okay, maybe I just need to give more to you.
Mhm.
So I tried to give more to this guy. I finally, my coach at the time, this is about 8-9 years ago when I had a one-on-one coach. And my coach, I was telling him, he was more of a therapist at this point because I was dealing with all this BS. And my coach tells me, you're watering a poisonous seed. Get rid of this guy from your life. And so what I did is, check this out. He sends me a text one day and I reply back and I say, hi, this is Asher, Pace's son. Pace gave me his cell phone and has a new phone number. I took my dad's old phone number. I'm so sorry. So Alan is like, oh, totally get it, understand. He was respectful to my son, at least, all
Mhm.
of that. But I decided to disconnect myself from him. I disconnected myself from him. But for 2 years, I was pouring into this guy, pouring into him, pouring into him, pouring into him, pouring into him. And I forgot the rule of let the giving filter themselves out, right? I forgot that
Mhm.
rule and I put 2 years of my life into this person. Okay.
And when you couple things is like to touch on that. When it comes to coaching and like
Yeah.
proximity, that the importance of that. And not only that, someone who actually do the thing that they are coaching you on. I think that's like number one. Even though a lot of
So,
people skip over that part. Like it's so many
so,
I can call out, and they don't do this business anymore just by what they
oh,
say out their mouth. You know.
100%. There's a lot of people that are coaches that are not actively doing the deals. And, I can tell you there's probably 5 people that are big names in the
Hmm.
business that actually do what they teach.
Hmm.
Less than 5. In fact, most of the people that I speak on stages with, I look at them and I'm like, you don't have a clue what's going on. You have not done a deal and I don't even know how long, right?
Exactly.
So this was really good. When I was paying John Bohm. John Bohm is now the head mindset coach for the Arizona Cardinals. So like he, very legitimate coach. I was paying him $500 an hour. The guy, it was basically worth $10,000 an hour, as long as I was taking action on what he told me. So here's what ends up happening with Alan. I don't talk to Alan for a couple of years. I was successful at disconnecting myself from him, and I was successful at getting away from him. And I would see him every once in a while, like a meetup, and I would kind of go the other way. And I'm
Mm,
just like, I don't want to be around the guy. I don't want to be the energy. I don't want to be anything. And there's a point to all of this. So what happens is about 3 years ago, he burns a partnership. 2 years ago, he burns a partnership, and I hear about it. Why do I hear about it? Is
mm,
because people would reach out to me and go, "Hey, your friend Alan just screwed somebody over." I'm like, "My friend Alan? What are you talking about, my friend? I haven't hung out with Alan in 6 years. Why the hell would you say that this guy is my friend?"
mhm,
And the reason being, Chad, is because I branded myself to everybody in Arizona that Alan was a friend of mine because of how much I was pouring my water on his poisonous seed. I was spending all my time pouring into this guy, and it looked as if we were aligned. And what happened is there were people that were like, "Oh, yeah, I didn't like you because you were friends with Alan." I'm like, I wasn't friends with Alan. I was just trying to
mm,
help the guy.
right.
Dude, I was associating myself and my brand was becoming synonymous with this guy because I spent 2 years with him. Okay, great. Fast forward. About a month ago, I'm on a podcast. And the podcast, we're talking about life insurance and how important life insurance is and infinite
Mhm,
banking and all this kind of stuff. And the guy on the podcast says, "Hey, did you hear that Alan was shot to death 2 weeks ago?"
mm,
And I go, "No, what? Oh my gosh, that's so horrible. Did he have life insurance?" He goes, "No." The guy had lost everything. He lost all his relationships, all his this, all his that, blah, 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 blah. And I said, "Can I ask you why you, like after the podcast was over, I said, can I ask you why you brought up Alan in this podcast?" Like I haven't talked to Alan now in probably at this point 9 years, 8, 9 years.
mhm,
Think about that. Why would you bring him up? I haven't associated with him. I haven't done any social media with him. I haven't done anything with Alan in 8, 9 years. Why would you bring him up? He goes, "Oh, because you guys are friends." I'm like, "What made you think that?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, 9 years ago, all that time you were spending with the guy and all those deals you were doing with him, you guys were basically partners." And I'm like, how horrible is it that I branded myself as an association with this guy who screwed over partners, robbed people money to the point where this guy was so poisonous, Chad, somebody pulled up on him and shot him to death on a job site because
mm,
Alan owed them money.
mhm,
I poured my time, energy, and effort. I took time away from my wife, my kids. I took time away from my partnerships and other things to give to a guy named Alan, who ended up 9 years later. People are still, literally a month ago, people are still coming to me and going, "Hey, your friend Alan got killed." I'm like, "Why the F do you think we were friends?"
mm,
Because I branded myself as his friend and I was giving incorrectly. So I have learned that giving will brand you if you do not use it as a filter. And so I
mm,
find very quickly, within usually 5 minutes of how I treat somebody and how I give them something, I see how they react and I know immediately whether there's somebody worthy of a collaboration or not. And
mm,
sadly, before I learned that lesson and I would just give, 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 I incorrectly branded myself. I incorrectly aligned myself with the wrong people. I incorrectly put myself in the wrong rooms because I'm just giving to people that were, at the end of the day, pieces of shit
yeah,
and had major problems. And
mm,
here's the thing. You got to filter really fast when you're giving because we've had this, you've heard this before, and I'm sure you'll hear it 1,000 times in your life. It's like the lifeguard analogy. If I'm a lifeguard and there's two people in the ocean that are swimming, but they're trying to swim to save themselves because the current is taking them out and they look like they're drowning. And somebody's on the beach going, lifeguard pace. There's two people drowning in the ocean. You need to help them." I look at the two people and one of them is swimming away from me and one of them is swimming towards me. It is actually my obligation to save the person that I know for sure I can save. I go save the person that's swimming towards me, the person that is also a giver, a person who also will collaborate, and the person who will take what I give them and give it to somebody else.
Hmm.
instead of going to the guy that's swimming the opposite direction and use all my energy and my effort to give and help this person get their first deal or help this person raise money or help this person overcome a thing. Chances are that person is going to be an Allen that's going to take me down with him, and I'm going to drown and he's going to drown at the same time. And guess who also got screwed was the person who actually was ready to be given to. And
Mm.
so I just learned you got to filter your giving as fast as possible. It doesn't mean give less.
Yeah.
It means give more, but then discern who is worthy of it immediately thereafter. Within 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, I can go, okay, you're good, you're not good. Okay. I'll give you a good example of this. Very quick filter. So last night I'm speaking at the ASRIA. Okay. ASRIA is Arizona Real Estate Investor Association. I will, there's 20 sub 2 community members in the room. There's probably 300 people in there that are not in the community. And so what I do is I go, hey guys, you don't need me. Okay. There's 20 people in this room that are actively doing deals. So I just want to let you know, hey guys, where are the 20 people in here? 20 people from sub 2 raise their hand, and everybody turns around. Okay. Everybody turns around and starts looking at these 20 people. That's a gift, right? Is to take
Hmm.
the attention off of me and put it on 20 other people and posture them up and build them up. Here's what happens. Okay. Some people will let's take Ingrid Hernandez, for example. Ingrid Hernandez is a sub 2 community member. She's awesome. She's in Owners Club with you and I. She's
Hmm.
unbelievable. And she says, hey, thank you, thank you, thank you for connecting me with all these people. And thank you for helping me filter, because what happened is 20 people came up to me, and immediately there were people that were saying, how can I provide value to you, Ingrid? How can I partner with you, Ingrid? How can I do something with you, Ingrid? Can I bring money to you, Ingrid? Can I bring you a deal, Ingrid? And she said, it's interesting because there's like 5 people out of the 20 that came and they were like, what's in it for me? Why should I get to know you?
Mm.
And she says, the old version of me would have wanted to pour into those people to convince them to like me and want to work with them. But I learned from you to filter as fast as possible. She goes, yep, those 5 people are the ones that are swimming away from me. I'm not going to spend any time with them. I'm going to spend time with the 15 people that are swimming towards me and actually want to collaborate. And so giving is who you are naturally, Chad Glover, and giving is who I naturally am as well. But it can be used strategically as a mechanism to verify that the people you're giving to are good people that you want to collaborate with or not. And you need to filter as quick as possible, or else you'll get stuck in an Allen situation and brand yourself as a guy who hangs out with freaking losers.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was a really quick one, just to have someone to say, hey, what's the reason? And then your like you said, her older self would immediately, because you want to be the one to try to sell yourself as if you have to sell someone that you already have. So that was really interesting you said that. And how one thing about sub two now owners club, which like you say, we don't talk about owners club that deep. So
Yeah.
but it's it's one of those things like you've seen way back. And when I think of the real estate market, affordability, and all these the artificial intelligence thing that's going to me personally going to make a huge impact on some in a short amount of time. Cause just for an example, when I seen that rocket get caught,
Oh
it
my
was
gosh.
that's like the walking on the moon back in what 69. That's the type of event that is. So I don't know if people understand how significant that is, like to catch a rocket, So that's saying space travel, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. To me, that's how I interpret it. And when it comes to real estate and programs and software like Prop AI and things that you have utilized, how integral and how much you see just when it comes to all these different things, how fast it's moving, that role that those things will play, just going into the future of things. The
Yeah, it's
present, actually, not even the future.
it's crazy. I mean, there's somebody right now in their mom's basement developing something that will alter my life. That's a scary
Mm,
thing. If you think
mhm.
about that, that's a scary thing. There's somebody in their mom's basement right now, probably not wearing pants, maybe not even underwear, that is developing something that will alter my life. I don't know
Right.
what it is. I have no idea what it is. I don't know when they're going to unleash it. But look what Elon Musk is doing, like you just said.
Mhm.
He has Neuralink, he has the Boring Company, he has Tesla, he has X, he has all these amazing companies. And on top of having 9 kids,
Nice. Right.
Homeboy just landed a rocket in basically forks, right?
Mhm.
The technology that is available right now is insanity. And so what's
Mhm.
going to happen right now is the rich are going to get richer, the poor are going to get poorer. And why is that? It's because the poor do not seek out information
Mhm.
even when it's readily available. You could smack them in the gosh damn face
Mhm.
with the information, and they just are like, oh, the rich this, the rich that, the rich this, the rich that, and they watch the train just walk, go right past them. So you've got technology that's changing the game. You now have AI software. Like we've got Deal Sauce that's coming out here pretty soon.
Mhm.
Deal Sauce has AI in its search finder, so it will identify a seller who is likely to sell
Mhm.
a year before they're ready to sell. We can identify who they are, what magazines they buy, what gym they go to, what car they drive. We'll then create an algorithm that will say this person's making really bad life decisions. They have 7 credit cards, it's stacking up. Da, 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 da. Chances are this person needs to sell their house and
Mhm.
they have a lot of equity, and the AI will just go make an offer at 200,000. Basically, AI is going to do the front end work on the job within 24 months.
Mm.
Everything will be completely different. You'll just get AI that will deliver a thing to you and go, hey, Chad, based on this guy on 123 Main Street, he owns a car, 4 credit cards. He just got laid off. He's 1 month behind his payments. We know that he subscribes to such and such magazine. We know that he does this. We know he goes to this gym. He just canceled his gym membership. We know this, 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 and this about him, and aggregates and collects all the data and goes, this person is likely to accept an offer of 60 cents on the dollar. Go make an offer right now. That's
Mm.
how fast things are moving right now.
That's a game changer. A hundred
It's a game
percent.
changer. And if you look at Deal Sauce right now, Deal Sauce, we've already developed AI into the software.
Mhm.
And so you'll see people, you'll click on a button that says likely to sell. And it's not quite to where I just said to you quite yet, but in
Mhm.
24 months, every morning you'll wake up and Deal Sauce will just go, here's the 4 houses you should buy today based on who just got let go for their job.
Yeah.
It will be following their social media. Like, think about this. AI will be able to tap into every homeowner's social media, LinkedIn profile, public records of whether they're going through a divorce,
100%.
their every little piece of data that you
Mhm.
can imagine. AI can aggregate and then deliver to you based on a seller, and then use that information to go, hey, this house has $300,000 in equity. Probably a good idea to go and offer this guy cash right now. He's feeling the most pain possible, right? So
Mm.
I'll give you a good example of this. And this is where AI can't pick this up yet, but it will. I just did a deal in North Carolina, right? Actually, not too far from you. The agent lists the property. Okay. And as the agent is listing the property, he finds out the seller, Joy, who hired him, is 13 months behind on her payment. Okay.
Mm.
13 months behind on her payment. He also then finds out from her, not that he went to public records, but he finds out from her that she's now already extended her foreclosure 4 different times. And now she's at the end of her rope. The trustee will not allow her to extend the foreclosure anymore.
Mhm.
Okay. So he's finding out these pieces of information one piece at a time, one piece at a time, phone call, phone call, phone call, phone call. And he's picking up all this data. Then he finds out, holy crap, this house is getting foreclosed on in 2 weeks. And
Wow.
he goes, I should not have taken this as a listing. I should have just given her a cash offer, right? Imagine every single seller in the country in 24 months on a map that shows how much money they make, what job they work at, are they married, are they not, are they in a relationship, are they not? Guys, the data is already there. It's public information.
Mhm.
People are readily putting their Instagram stuff out, their Facebook stuff out, their LinkedIn profile when somebody has a job, when they don't have a job, when they change jobs, when they buy a house. All of those types of things are all public data. This is not us like imposing on somebody's privacy. They are putting it out there. What AI will do is collect all those data points and go, oh, John Smith just canceled his gym membership. He posted about something on social media. He made a negative leaning post. That means he's probably feeling some sort of depression. He just broke up with his wife, and he's now 1 month behind on his payments. All this information, delivers it to you and say, go make an offer on this guy's house today.
Yeah,
We're 24 months away from that being a thing.
that's like, so the thing I tell the people a lot of times, the success, the concept from idea to execution has to be shrunk in order to succeed. Success loves speed, that analogy they said. And that's what you basically are describing right there. Just speed. Like you taking all of these things and here you go on a platter. It's just up to you as the individual to just take action. Just do the thing. Don't overthink it. Kind of like me. I just, hey, I'm gonna do this podcast. I have no idea. I'm doing interview. Let me just try the thing. And I figure as I go, Have someone that's incredible. Again, proximity, like a Pace Morby, And that's so dope, man. Just to hear all of the things that we got going on. That's I say we because that's how you pitch us to us. It's never was yourself. Like I've been in from sub two from the beginning sub2.com. If anybody don't join anything, that's a one-stop shop in my mind. It's way more than real estate. It's way more than mindset, business. It's everything in one. That's how I look at sub2. When you have someone like Pace and how he not only brings his high level relationships to you. Like, think about that. That's another thing. Like, it's so much stuff that I could talk to this man about, and just to introduce you to that world of what I've been privileged to become a part of. Kind of like when he started off, he says that like my audience in terms of his audience, like it's some people that will gravitate towards me just because they just know me, maybe because skin color, maybe just the
Yeah.
where I'm from, whatever. And I think that's important because one thing that again I gotta say this place, I'm super grateful is that you understand who you are, but you reach back. You're always trying to be inclusive. You don't see that from a lot of people. Again, I can say names, but that ain't what we do here. That's not me. But
Yeah,
you
and
truly do that.
honestly,
You understand
I
who
can
you
I
are
can
and you pull
understand
up.
I can understand why a lot of influencers don't bring up people from behind them. One, they don't know how to collaborate. They
Hmm.
don't recognize that it's a superpower to have more people at your side. But also, what they're justifiably worried about is they're worried that if they give the wrong person some posture and some spotlight, that person will bite them. And it's happened to me.
Mm.
Again, it's happened to me multiple times. I've had people take advantage of me when I put them on. I make them popular. I have a guy that you know him really, really well, but I won't bring up his name. I have a guy that I put on the spotlight. I helped him do a whole bunch of stuff. He sends me these big, long voice memos that I changed his life. And then he goes around and takes advantage of my relationships and my referrals. He takes my contractors and doesn't pay them back and all
Right.
these other things. I'm like, bro, what are you doing here? Like I put you into my world and you take advantage of my world. You come into my oasis and you poison all my stuff. Like, what are you doing? And some people just don't know how to behave. And so what happens is you're out there building a brand as an influencer. Very quickly, somebody can destroy your brand that you let into the fold that wasn't the right person, right? So
Mm.
I understand why they're very hesitant, but here's the cool thing is as I give, I attract more givers. Those givers I get to hang out with and I get to edify and I verify them. And then what happens is I go, oh, dude, Chad Glover, dude, this guy's been consistent as a pastor in church. This is a guy that I can put up. I can put him on stage. I can talk about him. I can promote him. I can do all of
Yeah.
those types of things. And it only makes the world better because you've already shown how much of a giver. You've already shown how amazing you are to the world. It makes it almost like it's my duty and my responsibility to show up for you because you've shown up for so many people along the way, you know?
Yeah. I have like two things I gotta let you go for sure. I'm looking at the time like, man, times flies by when you're just speaking to someone that you can just listen to and look up to, like 100%. But two things. One is important to me is who you have chose basically as a life partner. Like, I think when it comes to Laura, I have to like bring up Laura. Like, she to me is what allows you to be like you and amplifies. when the first day I met Lord, she would always make me feel comfortable. It just always was just she was actually pregnant when we first with Corbin, excuse me, Monday. So, but she was always cool, always being the one that was helping out, and to have that support. How like critical is that? Like for those who listening, in terms of that life part, that life source that allows you to travel all over the world, as well as her skill set, super smart, intelligent, like Lady Lori is, as well as I think that's one of the most important things that I wanted to talk about, just as you, as that father, as that husband, that household, how you it. I ain't gonna say use the word balance. I think it's just like seamless the way you does it.
Yeah.
Just having that, how
Yeah. I
that.
mean, this morning I did 6 hours of meeting. So I did, woke up, planned, spend about an hour with the girls. Then I did 6 hours of meetings and Zooms and podcasts. And then I went and I picked Corbin up from school, took her and Monday to lunch. Then I took 2 hours for another meeting. Then I came in here. And then I get another 2 hours of my kids tonight.
Yeah.
And I have this really great integration in my life, which is awesome. I get to work from my home and all of that kind of stuff. And of course, I have big offices and big teams and all that kind of stuff, but I have good partners. But the most important partner I have is by far my wife, by
Mm-hmm.
far, because
Mm-hmm.
you see this, I see this. We see men that are out there trying to make something happen for their family and sacrifice their personal health, their personal, interests, their personal hobbies, and all of these things to make sure that they can learn and better themselves to ultimately learn real estate, finance, whatever. And along that journey, their women, their spouse, their partner, their girlfriend, their whatever criticizes them or says, I don't understand what you're
Mm-hmm.
doing. And why are you taking all this time away from me? And the man is sitting over there going, don't you see I'm doing this to like prevent us from dealing with inflation and losing our job when there's big layoffs, when the economy goes down, and getting some sort of control over our future? You don't see that. And the reality is, no, I'd say 90% of the women that I see for starting entrepreneurs do not see it. And then they give their spouse or husband or fiance, the male, a tremendous amount of grief and a tremendous amount of
Mm-hmm.
aggravation. And it puts those men in a situation where they can't perform.
Mm-hmm.
And those women are sabotaging their own future. They just don't see it. So when you have the opposite of that, right? You have a woman who is like, no, I expect you to be a good leader. I married you.
Mm-hmm.
You married me so I could create your children. I married you so you could protect and provide for these children. And if you are not building yourself up and hardening yourself and making yourself better, then how the hell can you protect and provide for anybody? And
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have a woman at least nurturing you, your wife is unbelievable. I love her so much. She does this so well. She's encouraging, she's loving, she's
Mm-hmm.
sweet. She understands the sacrifice. She's there with you the whole entire time. And it makes our journey a lot easier. And it actually motivates the man a lot more to accomplish a lot more because you would now have something positive to fight for rather than avoiding negativity. I would rather live my whole life striving for positivity than avoiding negativity, right? And the partner that you choose, the person you marry, makes all that difference. And I actually can see why a lot of men nowadays are choosing not to get married until they've established themselves, is because they're like, I don't want somebody to criticize me for working my guts out and making something out of myself. So I'm going to remain single until I'm 35, 40, 50 years old. And then that way I don't have somebody criticizing me and I'll marry. So it's sadly deteriorates the nucleus of a family. And a lot of women, a lot of spouses don't understand how important they are. And I would imagine you would argue the same thing with me. My wife is more important in my relationship than I am in my relationship.
Mm-hmm.
She's the foundation of
Mm-hmm.
the castle. Your wife is the foundation of the castle. And if with I don't with that foundation, I'm just building a castle on dirt or
Mm-hmm.
sand, and it's all meant to topple over. But you and myself are lucky that we found these women that we get to build this solid castle on the most strong and unbelievable foundation. Your wife, my wife.
100%. So, Pace, one thing I never told you, I called you Game Six, right? You know, because it's Jordan. I mean, your middle name is Jordan, but one thing I can see someone, I just throw out nickname. It just come naturally like that. Like I did it with like with Monday May. I start telling Laura, calling her Monday May or Young Chill and stuff like that. But Game Six, you remember Game Six in the '98 finals? Like how 18 seconds left, he crossed over and crushed the game. That was also considered his last game as a Bull, right? He didn't. That was it. And
Yeah,
that's how it's always been when it came to you. Was consistently shows up. You gonna take up when you think we down, we gonna win. It don't matter
yeah,
what it is. You always pull back on it, man. It's from your best selling book, right? Wealth Without Cash to Sub Two to any community, anything you touch. It may look like it's proper. Yeah, okay, we was tweaking things, now it's soaring off. It's always that thing where you come through in clutch, man. So
yeah.
I would just
Thank
want
you.
to again thank you. Super grateful for you, man. I can't. It's the only thing I can do. Something again I text you a long time ago. I said like, what do you want me to do? Like what you just said, keep giving, keep doing. I said, oh, that's easy, like
Yeah.
100%, because I don't know how to
The
figure
other
it out.
thing I would do
Mhm.
is keep doing what you're doing right now. Go interview other heroes, other people that
Mhm.
you look up to. Get them on this show. Start getting your name out there more. Get more interviews done because this show is going to be unbelievable, right? This, that, and the third. It's going to be an amazing show. You've got to go out and find 50 other unbelievable people to interview and keep
Absolutely.
working on your skills because one day you're going to be interviewing Tony Robbins. You're going to be interviewing Dean Graziosi. You're going to be interviewing Matthew McConaughey and Jordan Peterson and other unbelievable people because you're starting this journey of getting your podcast up and going. And so you keep doing that, bro. I'm telling you, your brand needs to be out there. I'm proud of you for doing this. I love you so much. I'm so grateful for my friendship with you, and I'm grateful for everything that you do inside of our community and all the people that you help. And you haven't even started, bro. Everything you've done up until this moment of your life has been a warm up. We
Yeah.
haven't even played the real game yet. It's
Yeah.
like it's like it's like Allen Iverson says. We talk about practice. You've just been practicing. You've just
Yeah.
been practicing in order to make an impact. And everything that is in your future is going to be the real game. And I appreciate you starting this podcast. I can't wait. I'm subscribing. I'll share this to my audience as well. I love you. I appreciate you, man.
All right. Love you, man. 100%. I normally close out with some type of motivational, but it's done. You done enough, man. I appreciate you. Love you, brother. 1 million times percent. So
Love you, brother. Love you. Guys, thank you so much for being here for this, that, and the third. I'm out, but I want you guys to know that I'm subscribing to this. You guys should subscribe to this as well. And tell Chad who you want to come up as a guest because I'm going to be helping Chad get some guests on the show that he probably doesn't believe that he has the ability to interview. We're going to be helping you get some pretty big hitters on this show. Love you, brother. I'll see you soon.
all right. Love you, brother.